talk about an exciting topic that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. How can we approach building superior experiences that help advance mainstream adoption of Web3? As Walletless Onboarding is a primary track for the Hackathon, definitely want to like help all the builders out there that are going to be charging at this track during the Hackathon. Hopefully this really sets the stage for some of the experiences that we would love to see built on Flow, but obviously, you know, the imagination of the community is something we're really excited to point at this big opportunity to bring more people onto Web3. So here's what we'll cover today. Approaches and benefits of onboarding experiences that leverage familiar and accessible experiences for new users. Really want to meet these new users where they are in the journey, as opposed to overwhelming them with new concepts before they even realize the value of an app. We could talk about how we're enabling this seamless and progressive path to hybrid custody for users on Flow. We'll talk about how we'll do that, some of the new features on Flow that we've been enabling over the course of the past few weeks, and excited to roll that out. And this last but not least, how you can get started building these experiences today in your apps. So this has to be one of the most widely acknowledged questions facing the space today as we aim for mainstream adoption. If we're aiming to help everyone experience the benefits of Web3, then why do we make it so difficult? And you know, anyone who's used a Web3 app has encountered experiences like this. But you know, if you never have used a Web3 app and you think of a wallet as that physical thing that you carry your money and IDs and credit cards in, then it's understandable why you can be pretty turned off and confused by the first-time experience of many Web3 apps. You know, the need to create a connect the wallet to start using an app, having to save seed freezes, and then the scariness of potentially losing those and losing your account and all your things. Being asked to sign transactions that don't explain what the transaction is doing. And these are obviously scary and confusing for newcomers. And it's going to be a long path to mainstream adoption if we don't address these and help people better navigate these types of experiences. So this is a crucial question for sure. You know, how do we create experiences that are friendly and accessible to newcomers? But we actually need to extend it a bit. We can't stop there. So adding to the question and help them experience the unique benefits of Web3. It's not just enough for us to create great user experience, but also we need to build products and experiences that help users grasp and realize the ultimate value of Web3. So we have to keep our eye on that North Star. If we don't help people realize the benefits, then we're going to fall short of the potential of Web3 and blockchain technology. So real ownership, self-sovereignty, these are the ultimate unlocks. These are why we're building these services for people. At the same time, we can't reasonably expect people to leap from that initial exposure to fully understanding and grasping self-custody, to how to manage their digital items and how to realize that value of real ownership. We have to consider the overall journey for new users, and we have to like be their stewards throughout the process. We have to illuminate the path for them. So as we look at the onboarding experience for mainstream users, let's start by looking at some of the common points of friction that typically impact the initial experiences, impressions that users have with Web3 apps. We'll highlight three here. Creating and connecting a wallet. You know, most experiences require users to create and connect the wallet to the app, often even before the user has had a chance to try out the app and understand its value. So it's a pretty big ask up front, especially for users that have little to no familiarity with these concepts. Also acquiring crypto to purchase digital items. It can be a daunting experience to try to figure out how to acquire crypto for the first time, get it into your wallet so that you can purchase digital items in the app. You know, can certainly be a turnoff for people that are new to the space. And then approving on-chain transactions, being asked to approve transactions that might not be clear to the user and could lead to a jarring experience for newcomers. This hurdle is really amplified on mobile. If you've used an app that requires you know, a moderate amount of transactions on mobile, you've seen this where transactions can take over valuable screen space on mobile and also require switching of apps depending on the wallet that you use. So if we take a step back and think about how to design a familiar onboarding experiences, we can abstract away some of these complexities from first-time users through what we call a walletless onboarding experience. So let's talk a little bit about what this could look like. So instead of requiring a user to create and connect a wallet to use an app, we can enable them to use a familiar login or a familiar social account identity to be able to create an account and begin using an app. In this case, we can create an in-app custodial flow account on their user's behalf. So they're still connecting to Web3 and connecting to the blockchain, but they may not know at this point that a flow account exists. But it does enable them to start using an on-chain app as they embark on their journey. Instead of requiring user to acquire crypto to purchase new or existing digital items in their app, let them use familiar ways to purchase these items, such as credit card, in-app purchases on mobile. When they purchase these items, though, the app can handle the minting and transfer of the item to the in-app custodial flow account that we just mentioned in the previous slide. That's managed by the application. So again, meeting people where they're at in terms of their familiarity of using apps, but still providing and connecting to the mechanisms of the underlying blockchain behind the scenes for the users. And then instead of having to prompt the user to sign a transaction through the wallet each time they perform an on-chain interaction, sign these transactions on their behalf using the in-app custodial flow account that was created when the user signed up using that social login. So this is especially valuable for apps like games that have more frequent on-chain interactions. And like we mentioned, mobile as well. You could really reduce the jarring user experience for people using these apps for the first time. And even Drake agrees. Walletless onboarding can create a significantly more welcome experience for Web3 newcomers. And just to recap, it can be an effective approach to directly address some of the most critical points of friction that face mainstream adoption of Web3 today. Providing users with well-established and familiar concepts as an on-ramp to on-chain experience has a huge potential to help more mainstream users onto Web3 apps. And so we can design our apps with abstractions away from some of these interactions with blockchain in these early stages to introduce users to Web3 and blockchain as they progress throughout their journey. That's a lot, and it's awesome. Walletless onboarding can be an awesome approach to get new users starting to use our Web3 apps, but it does have some drawbacks. So let's take a look at some of those drawbacks. So for one, using an in-app custodial account to be able to manage these assets on behalf of the user, from a user perspective, these digital items are effectively locked within the app. So if I'm looking to realize true ownership and take those elsewhere, it's a little bit difficult for me to do that, especially for new users. Trying to figure out how to move those items out of that app custodial account into another place can be quite difficult, for someone to navigate. And then lastly, if the app shuts down, those items can be lost. There's the platform risk that's associated with with a fully custodial account in this case. So we need a seamless path to real ownership. In addition to walletless onboarding, which is great to getting people in and using these apps for the first time and really experiencing the blockchain in a familiar way, we also need to illuminate a seamless path to real ownership for these users. So if we don't, we're not helping these users realize the true potential of Web3, and we're falling short of where we ultimately want to go. So so far we started with the standard Web3 app. We've introduced walletless onboarding flow that addresses key points of friction that plague many first-time users. But as we just noted, there's some drawbacks if we just stop here. So we're excited, just like Mr. McMahon here, about how we'll be able to pave a path the rest of the way to real ownership and self-sovereignty through a new concept of hybrid custody that we're really excited about enabling here on Flow. So let's dive into how we're going to do this. So hybrid custody really establishes the best of both worlds. Both worlds meaning app custody and self-custody. So with app custody, we've already talked a lot about the benefits there. Familiar to mainstream users, simple authorizations, optimal first-time user experience. But self-custody being that North Star of really where we want to empower mainstream users to really achieve what Web3 can provide for them. Having that control over the items, real ownership, being able to take and transfer those assets with users throughout the ecosystem, being able to take those to other apps, being able to transfer the assets to others. We need to unlock that as well. So hybrid custody is really this best of both worlds, sitting here in the middle of this nice Venn diagram, where we get the benefits of seamless in-app experience, but we also get the control and portability to other apps in the ecosystem. So let's dive in a little bit more on this. So one of the things it actually really does, and it jives nicely with, is actually mobile as well. So there's a big unlock here for Web3 apps to provide great experience with mobile, since hybrid custody helps remove that big point of friction of the jarring experience, where there's invasive prompts and needing to switch between apps for certain on-chain interactions. That effectively goes away in this type of model, where in hybrid custody, the apps can sign these transactions on behalf of the user, really eliminating that friction point. Apps also can leverage native mobile payment systems. So we know on iOS and Android, a lot of these platforms are really pushing developers towards using those native in-app payment rails, by providing that familiar experience to users in your app. It enables developers to build fully native experiences to these platforms, but still obviously realize the value of the blockchain. And then lastly, the secure enclave, on devices also helps provide that added layer of security for these custodial accounts. So how does Flow enable this? Let's dive in some more. So the way this is enabled on Flow is through a new feature that we're calling account linking. So account linking effectively enables these in-app custodial accounts to delegate control to the self-custody wallet. And effectively, this becomes a parent-child account relationship here, where each of these app accounts in this case can delegate control to this self-custody wallet, which effectively becomes the place where a person manages and controls their experience throughout the ecosystem with these various these various in-app custodial wallets. So the way that happens is we recently enabled a new experimental feature on testnet that enables capabilities on auth accounts, and I'll walk through some more resources that we have on this as you look to get started. But we really believe this is a huge unlock for the ecosystem, since it solves a bunch of these problems that we talked about, where we hit that roadblock in strictly ending at Walletless onboarding. Things like digital items being locked within the app, no longer a problem in hybrid custody, because you have that shared ownership of the assets, both in the app custody account and the self-custody wallet, where I can take those elsewhere in the ecosystem. And with the second column here, no transfer required. I can use those assets. I can continue to use those assets in my app. If I'm playing a game, I can continue to use those NFTs in my game. But at the same time, I can go and connect my wallet to another app in the ecosystem, say a marketplace, and I can also put those assets up for sale on a marketplace, for instance, or I can use those in another game, perhaps. So it really gives me this best of both worlds, like we talked about before, where I can continue using that seamless experience in that app where I started, but also explore the rest of the ecosystem. And then last but not least, the user has now realized real ownership and control over those items. So ultimately, if they want to take those elsewhere, if they no longer want to use those items within that app, they can do so, and they can control those within their self-custody wallet in that case. So let's see this in action. I'm going to walk through a demo here. So we built a pair of sample apps to demonstrate this end-to-end experience. And so I'm going to walk through a quick video, and I'll talk through what's going on below the surface here. So we're showing an app here that's an on-chain game of rock, paper, scissors. And so the first thing that we'll do here is sign in with Google to get started playing. So familiar experience, sign in with Google, pick my Google account, and voila, I'm logged in and I have an account on this service. One thing that's happening below the surface, though, is we've created a Flow account for that user. So we'll get back to that in a second. We're going to go buy a game piece NFT. And so using Stripe in this case, using a credit card, we're going to purchase a game piece NFT to be able to play this monster-driven version of rock, paper, scissors. So now at this point, we've created a flow account on behalf of the user underneath the surface. We also minted this NFT. And you can see it, we hop over to flow view. You can actually see this account on flow view here. So the account has been created. We've minted an NFT for the user that's just purchased. And we're going to play some rock, paper, scissors. And so what you see here is we play a few games. When we won, this is kind of the classic like arcade like prize tickets. So we won 10 tickets. You actually can see these are fungible tokens that exist on that in-app custodial account, which are ticket tokens. So you can see this is all going on below the surface. From the user experience here, though, this is happening completely seamlessly to the user. So as they play, they determine they do want to connect the wallet. They've learned about the value of connecting a wallet, and they want to take self-custody. So I'm linking my account here using the dev wallet, and this is where the account linking takes place. So at this point now, that in-app custodial wallet has delegated control over to the self-custody wallet. And so what we're going to do here is hop over to a second experience we built, which is this ticket counter, effectively, where I'm going to connect that wallet and log in there with that self-custody wallet. Now here, I'm going to spend those 10 fungible tokens that I acquired in the game, and I'm going to buy this rainbow duck NFT as a prize. So what's cool here is I didn't have to transfer those fungible tokens out of that app custodial wallet. They were accessible to me since I linked that account. And here I've purchased that game piece, or sorry, that you can see my game piece NFT, and I purchased this prize rainbow ducky here with those 10 ticket tokens without having to transfer those out of that app custodial account. So completely seamless to the user. And you can see as we walk through here on FlowView, you can see the prize that I've just purchased there in my wallet as well. So extremely seamless. We're open sourcing this, and we're going to be opening this up for all developers to take a look at shortly. But thought it was super important to be able to show you what this looks like in action, end to end, from a walletless onboarding approach all the way through to self custody in a hybrid model for users. So resources to get started. Like I mentioned, we enabled the auth account capabilities on testnet last week. So developers can get started to experimenting with that today. And we do have account linking documentation now live on our developer portal. So if you go to developers.flow.com/account-linking, you will find those resources there. I did mention the Monster Arcade and Monster Mall sample apps that we just walked through. Those will be available quite soon. We'll be opening up the repositories on those for you to take a look and see how we've implemented that as a good guideline for y'all to build. And last but not least, our good friends at Niftery have created a service to help folks get started as well. So they've created this walletless onboarding as a service. I just wanted to surface this for builders in the hackathon. If you're looking as a good way to get started, and you don't want to spend a bunch of time trying to figure out some of the nitty gritty of setting up custodial wallets and managing that. Niftery has a great solution here, which they've been gracious to build and get in place for all the hackathon participants. So quick demo here. You sign it similar to other demo. You sign in with social login in Google, and here they're creating a flow account here for you. You can see it there. And you can begin using this. And this is, they have APIs for this. I've linked to the blog here, and they have samples on their GitHub repository. We'll share all this out on Discord just for everyone as well. So if you're taking notes, great. If you're coming back and watching this later, great. But we'll also share this links to all this on Discord so everyone has access to it. So I will stop there. We're really, really excited to see what y'all build. Here's ways to contact me if you have more questions or want to discuss some more, but I'm happy to turn it over for any questions that anyone will have. Some questions in the Q&A. So one of the questions was, what would the experience look like if you wanted to use this on a different app? I think we showcased that in the app. Of having the onboarding experience, come in through that first app, and then the second app, being where you would actually access and use the NFTs. So hopefully that answered the question. And then did another one like Uniswap, for example. I guess I was probably referring to the token, the token redemption that we had. Happy to answer any other questions. Or you can find me on Twitter and Discord, as you see on the slide. Yeah. Oh, we got a few more. Should I stay on and answer these for now?
Yeah, sure. You can answer these questions.
So we got Pradeep. Which dApps do you hope to create during the hackathon? Really with Walletless, I mean, your imagination is as good as ours on this. I mean, we really want to see this used as a way to just really help build great user experience. I mean, it really, this can be employed in a bunch of different ways. We showed it here using a game, but you can imagine, lots of different use cases for or lots of different types of apps that need to have a great onboarding experience for mainstream users. So really, looking for y'all to employ this against the examples that, or sorry, the ideas that you have that you're looking to build on top of Flow. This is just a piece of the puzzle, I would say. William, with what other functions are available to the developer to allow the wallet to interact with the app for specific functions? I'm not totally clear on the question. I will say one of the things that, there's a question about mainnet. So we are working on bringing this to mainnet. So I'll answer Mateo's question and then come back to William's. We are working on bringing this to mainnet. One of the things that we want to make sure that we do land before we do bring this to mainnet. We've had some great conversations with the community around just added controls for dApps and users, just to really make sure that we're going to surface this to ways and for people that are very predictable and safe. So one of the things, to go back to William's question, what other functions are available for the developer to allow the wallet to interact? One of the things we're looking at is better controls to better scope the access between the app and the account as well. So that's something we're continuing to work through in the community, with the forum, the flips out there and stuff like that. Ridwan, is there an API like Ether.js which allows you to create an account or wallet? That actually is one of the Niftery has been great to provide one of the solutions. There's a few others that are emerging in the ecosystem as well, but yeah, the Niftery solution that I pointed you to is a good example. Let's see what else. I see all my tokens from different apps somewhere in one place. So absolutely. I mean, the way that I envision this playing out in the future, and we are already talking to wallet providers about this, is you effectively, your wallet interface will be the place where you're able to view all your different connections to these individual app accounts. So you can imagine a world where it's similar to what we've had in Web 2, where you've maybe used your Twitter account or your Facebook account to connect to various apps. Having a similar type interface. I'm not going to design it from wallet providers, but a similar type interface, where you are able to see the various app accounts that you've connected to and see the items that you have within them and move things between those accounts if that's something that you want to do. But yeah, the wallet interface, will certainly be an important way to view into that. But also apps can also build that experience into their product if they want as well. It's all on chain, so it's not necessarily something that has to only be serviced by wallets. But wallets would certainly be probably the most prominent way that people will be able to manage that in one place.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for answering all the questions. Anyone has any other questions? Otherwise, I think we don't have any questions. Thank you so much, Chris. It was really great to have you. I think there is one more question. Is there a documentation for automate smart contract?
Automate smart contract. I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure what that means. The documentation I pointed to you on account linking, does walk through the transactions that you'll want to use and walk through like the parent-child account model. So I would say like those are the best resources that we have.